Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I am Sadia Hussain, lecturer, Department of Finance and Banking. My dear students, today I am going to discuss Chapter 1, which is Finance and Business Finance. This is lecture number 2. At first, we have to understand what is business finance. The financing procedure a business adopts for collection of necessary fund from different sources, preservation of that fund and control of that fund is called business finance. The main objective of business finance is to earn profit. Business finance is that business activity which is concerned with the collection and distribution of funds in meeting financial needs and overall objectives of business enterprises. Business finance is that business activity which concerns with the acquisition and conservation of capital funds in meeting financial needs and overall objectives of business enterprise. This type of finance broadly be defined as the activity concerned with planning, raising, controlling, administrating of the funds used in the business. This type of finance deals with primarily raising, administrating, disbursing funds by privately owned business units operating in non-financial fields of industry. In sum up, it can be said that business finance means the collection of funds, uses of fund, coordination of fund and controlling of fund for a business. Now we have to understand why business finance is so important for today. First one is capital crisis of business. Finance-related ideas bear special importance in a situation of Bangladesh. As Bangladesh is a developing country, financial crisis is a regular incident for the business organization. Due to this crisis, to run business smoothly has become very challenging. It could be said as an example that a business organization needs to purchase raw materials, but if it cannot purchase raw materials timely due to the financial crisis, then the production process of the organization may be hampered. That's why finance-related ideas help a business entrepreneur to collect necessary amount of fund at the right time and utilize it properly in a planned way. That's why finance is very important as well as business finance. Then, backward banking system. As our financial organizations are not well organized like that of the advanced countries, loan cannot be arranged within expected time after application. Sometimes, loan cannot be arranged as per required amount due to insufficiency of property as to be pledged as security for sanctioning the loan. So, to overcome this problem, business people have to collect fund at right time in a very well planned way and also need profitable utilization of the fund with a right investment decision. Proper financial plan and management help him to predict this type of problem and give idea about the process of overcoming such situation. Then, less educated entrepreneur. The majority of the entrepreneurs in Bangladesh are less educated and are not able to conduct financial activities through long-term plan. So, many profitable business organizations cannot operate smoothly due to the financial crisis arisen from improper financial planning, and at the end it faces loss instead of profit. But the only reason of this loss is financial ill management. If a businessman has sufficient knowledge about financial management, he can easily collect necessary amount of fund at right time after a less expensive source and can earn enough profit by running his business through investing it in a suitable project. That's why finance is very important in our today's business. Then last one is production oriented investment and national income. A successful investment plays a direct role to increase national income. By applying financial knowledge, a business person can choose the most profitable project from among the alternatives by doing a cost-benefit analysis of the projects under consideration. This type of profitable investment is as much meaningful for the business as it is important also for the economic development of the whole country. Principles of business finance. First one is liquidity versus profitability. Liquidity and profitability have to maintain a balance. Liquidity means the cash reserved for mitigating daily business expenses. Profitability is the return earned from investment. Balancing between profitability and liquidity is one of the principles of finance. Principle of liquidity and profitability means to make each business decision in such a way that required liquidity and profitability both cannot be maintained. The virtue for which a product, asset, or security can be sold easily and converted into cash quickly is liquidity. And to earn investing in a profitable sector is profit. There is a negative relationship between liquidity and profitability. Profitability increases if liquidity decreases, and profitability decreases if liquidity increases. To maintain enough stock of money required to perform daily activities of a business properly is called principle of liquidity. And to maximize profit by more and more investment is called principle of profitability. But there is a conflict between principle of liquidity and profitability. So, if a business retains less liquidity, it investment more, and if it can invest more, it can earn more. That's why a successful business needs to make combination of these two elements very properly. Competence principle. We also can call it as a principle of suitability. Acquiring current asset by short-term fund and fixed asset by long-term fund is a principle of finance. This principle is very important in fund collection and investment. Current asset is that money which is required to run the daily expenses of a business, like raw materials purchase, payment of labor, wages, etc. On the other hand, machinery purchase, building construction for the business, etc. are fixed capital. As the amount of current capital is small, it also yields less. For this reason, this type of capital should be collected from the short-term source of finance. On the other hand, current capital should be managed from regular sales proceeds. High rate of interest has to be given of the loan, providing institutions for collecting loan from the long-term sources. So, if loan is collected from long-term sources to bear the current expenses, then it appears that repayment of interest from the earned income becomes impossible. That's why to select a perfect sector for fund collection or investment is called competence principle or principle of suitability. This principle is very important in fund collection and investment. The main theme of this principle is that if an organization needs short-term fund, it should collect it from a short-term source. Similarly, if the organization needs long-term fund, then it should go to a long-term source. Principle of portfolio diversification. As per portfolio diversification principle, investors do not invest their money in a single project, rather they make investment in a group of assets. Consequently, failure of any investment gets adjusted with success of other investment of the portfolio. Thus, it helps to reduce the risks of the investment. The main theme of principle of portfolio diversification is risk minimization. When an investor invests in more than one company or asset, it is called portfolio. Too much investment in a project is risky. Principle of portfolio diversification means that an investor or businessman will not invest all his money in a single project, rather he will invest it in several projects. Investment decision of a businessman should be as diverse as possible. At this, business risk is distributed among different projects and thus reduced. This is principle of portfolio diversification. My dear students, that's all for today's class. If you have any kind of questions or queries, you can call me or we can discuss it in our Zoom class. Allah Hafiz.